Flosstube, all my stitchy friends. Hello to the stitchy universe. This is Angel from the Elegant Thread, and this is my channel about cross stitch and maybe some various and sundry other things. So it's been a while. I've been traveling, but grab a mug of coffee. This is my mug from Maine. Just saying. Thank you, Kay. Have a seat, grab some stitching. I tried to make some notes so that this would be flow a little bit, but I can't. It's just gonna be all over the place, So, well, hi, welcome back. I have been, went up to Maine for the Tatter Blue Library Retreat. Tatter Blue Library is in Brooklyn, New York, and everything is blue, which is such a fantastic color anyways. I liked blue before I went, but now I really like blue, and everything's gonna be blue. It was a combined retreat. The first couple of days we did foraging in the woods for mushrooms. I did mushroom dyeing. Stand by for that. Mushroom dyeing, and then we did historical embroidery. So it was a lot of fun. I met some really great people, and we'll see a couple of projects coming out of that. So embroidery is not my thing. I'll admit that. Cross stitch is my thing. So at the retreat, I'll just cover a little bit of that. Let me see if this is it. This is it. At the retreat, she gave us these little samplers. I didn't grab my thing, so maybe I'll use this. There you go. So she gave us these samplers. Now this is embroidery, this is not cross stitch. And this linen that it's on is an antique French bed sheet. How is that for double? Okay, so I had to, you kind of, you don't make up stitches, but you get to pick what you put in places. Now I'm a little bit too type A for embroidery, I'm realizing. I kind of need this is an X, it goes exactly here, and exactly this color, right? That's the whole type A thing. And that's what I like about cross stitch. I mean, you can change it, yes, but it's still very specific. So this is not as specific, and it has lots of different stitches. And I'm still creating. I'm not done with it yet, but it's in mostly blue. So we received that, and she gave us this wonderful pack of blue Valdani threads to stitch the sampler with. I'm using that, and I love it. They're beautiful colors of blue. And since I didn't really know what I was doing, here's a little bit of haul. I bought this. Stitching at a glance, hand embroidery. Now you can see the difference I've seen between, cross stitch and the embroidery stuff is that you could do lazy daisy stitches in cross stitch. Absolutely. It's just the directions would be very, very much over threads. You come up in this thread, you go down 2, over 1, and you go down here. In embroidery, it's just grab a needle, poke it somewhere, and figure it out. Okay, so I'm figuring it out. So I bought this. This is my haul, so I can try and finish that. We went to a place called Swan's Island Blankets, and they make wool blankets. Very, very beautiful wool blankets. Oh my goodness. And they also dye that. Swan's Islands used to be where the sheep were, and then they get the wool and they dye it. So we did an indigo dyeing class, which I knew nothing about indigo, not the first thing. Cochineal and indigo, very challenging to dye with. It's not like Easter egg dyeing, where you get the thing, you dump it in, and you get some vinegar, and no. It's science. It's chemistry, and it's a little bit of luck and chance sometimes. So we did dye, and here is I got to dye this myself. Ignore this part, it's just holding it together. So, why don't I have a white board for you to see? You know what, I'm gonna make this up. There you go. Does that even help? People do this, but I don't know. Does it really help? Yeah, I don't know. So here it is. It's blue. So you can see it just like this. I don't even need this white thing. Meh. It's a lovely color of blue. And this is silk. We also did some yarn. We did wool. We did wool blends. We did a regular wool, worsted wool, all those things. If you knit, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I don't knit, and now I have this hand-dyed wool, which means if I go like to, I'm going to bring it with me, I think, like to a retreat or something. If there's someone there that knits, then I will give them the wool part. Maybe I'll do a giveaway or something. I don't know. So if I ever meet, I don't know, someone that does stitching, knitting. So I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to put this, maybe, I haven't used it yet because I started it before we died. I think I'm going to do these little flowers on the edge in this blue silk, so it incorporates the stuff together. So there's that. And we didn't, as I said, you don't get a pattern for that. All we received, this is it. Literally, it's just, here are a few stitches, here's kind of how you do it, maybe a little bit of history of them, and go. Everybody had something very different, and it was really cool to see. Before we left, we also received what she called a sampler. So this is what she gave us. Now this is a printed on linen, but it's printed, so these are dots. You can see they're dots on the linen. So you can't really cross stitch this, but I wanted to do it. And I talked to her, the owner, and she thought maybe I could come up to the Tatter Blue Library and teach a class on cross stitch. Maybe an intro class, how to cross stitch. So I thought I would take this, and what I did is I charted it. I also did a little bit of visual placement, one or two stitches here and there, kind of made it a little balanced as a cross-stitch chart. And I think it would be lovely to go there and teach, it's her chart, to teach that as a class, like a sampler class. It could be either all cross-stitch, or it could be cross-stitch with just a few specialty stitches thrown in there. You don't know. But right now I thought maybe in blue work, that would be great. So if I do 40 count over 2, it would be with 3-inch borders, it would be a 16 by 18, which means that the stitched area would be 13 by 15, which isn't too bad. That's a very large sampler, actually. It's a 190 by 230 stitches. But it's charted. That was my first time charting something, and I used X-Stitch software, and I thought it was very cool. It was fun, and I think I want to chart more in the future. I think I would like to chart something that I can, that I design, that I can include in my bags when I sell them. So just for fun, So stand by. I have all these ideas in my head. So that was my life update. I went on the retreat. The only unfortunate thing about going on that retreat, although I do love Maine, any chance to go there, yes, was that I missed the Bristol Sampler Weekend at Sassy Jack's. I feel like I missed Christmas. Yeah, like, I can't believe I missed my chance to meet Gary and Vanna. And everything that's coming out of there, all the Flosstubes, all of the projects, all of everything, the inspiration is just off the charts. Oh yeah. It's probably good that I didn't go, because I would probably have 50 more projects. I would really have bought all of the Bristol samplers because they're all stunningly beautiful. Red work is stunningly beautiful. Red work samplers are particularly stunningly beautiful. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so usually in this progression of a Flosstube world, we do that little the intro part. I told you a little bit about what I've been doing. I don't have any FFOs, but I have an old one. So I'll share with you an old one. Since it's October, I have something that is good for October, Darktober stitching, right? This is something I did back in 2009, and it's framed. It is Shepherd's Bush, Merrily We Go A-Hunting, their Halloween sampler, and of course it's framed with the Shepherd's Bush frame. Ta-da! Yeah, it's really awesome. It has a button in the middle. It's on linen, in silk, stitched over 2. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It was really fun to stitch. I don't normally stitch on linen that's colored, and it's this pale yellow color, so that was really, really neat. It came as a kit, so I didn't buy anything separately. Yeah. So there it is. Happy Halloween. Happy October. Happy Darktober. There's my Halloween stitching. Shepherd's Bush. I don't know if it's still available. It might, or maybe it's Come Away A-Haunting, not Merrily We Go A-Haunting, but I think it was, I don't remember the name. But I think they only have one Halloween sampler, so go, search, you can find it. There it is, it's framed. I took it off the wall to show you guys. Okay, let me go through my whips, since I don't have any FFOs to show you. So I showed you the embroidery sampler that I received at the retreat. That's certainly a whip. Let's go over this one. From summer school, I'm the slowest stitcher ever, right? I think I'm probably the slowest stitcher to come out of summer school. I am still stitching on Ceci Smit, a Dutch sampler from the Scarlet House. I'm still stitching on this. You know, it looks small. It is small. Why is it taking me forever to do it? I don't know. Because I'm slow. But this is what I'm stitching. I took this as my travel project, and then I took it, I got on the plane, I got all ready, and I couldn't find my needle. Has anyone ever done that? Like, you take all your stuff, you're all ready, you set aside some time, maybe you're traveling, yeah, I'm gonna do some stitching. I know Gary Parr mentioned one time he went on a work trip, and he had all his stitching, everything ready, and then he goes to start and he didn't have his light and magnification, which he needed for that project, so he was stuck. Wow. Yeah, so that's how I felt. I will try and insert a picture of what it looked like before. And this is what it looks like now. I know I do this I'm stitching in hand, so it kind of curls up. If I was really good at this whole Flosstube stuff, I would iron it for you. Come on, we're among friends. It doesn't need to be ironed. Here it is. So I'm not quite halfway, almost halfway. And I've made some changes already to it, just to see. This, I had stitched the letters in green. They're supposed to be stitched in red, but they're charted in green. We got an email that was an error. They should be red, but I'd already stitched them. So I thought maybe I'll try them in blue. So now I might just leave them blue and green. I don't know. And I added some little blue dots inside the flowers around the edge, kind of filled them in a little bit. And I'm also going to fill in this pot a little bit. I put some French knots in around the flowers here, and I'm going to put French knots in the holes of the flowers here. Little things like that. I'm not changing any colors or anything, but I'm doing it. It was a kit, so for the class. Came with the fabric and all of the floss. Let's see, I probably should tell you about that. Oh, and it also came with this really cute rooster, this waxed rooster, which I've been using because this floss knots up a little bit. So this is the floss that goes with it. See, if I was like Nicole's needlework, I would stroke it and it would look so beautiful, but I know she does a good job of that. I'm not so good at it. Okay, why am I not ready? I don't know. It's fighting me one-handed. Okay, so it's 40 count, Heartland linen from Picture This Plus, and these are Gentle Art and Weeks Dye Works floss fibers. So there, now that I've held it crooked and everything, there it is. coming along. Such a little sampler, but so much work. I mean, some people probably would do this in like a week. That's taken me 6 months. I don't know. But I stitch on it, I take it with me. It's my travel project. I do like it. I like motif samplers. I like band samplers because I need a little bit of a sense of accomplishment as I'm going along. Right? If I never feel like I completed anything, then I just get bored. So, yeah. Okay, so the next whip in my bag. I grabbed it. This bag was made for a hat sampler, but I needed something to take with me. So I grabbed this one. And then I put my Rosewood Manor Sal in it. It's gonna go, I'm making a different bag for my Rosewood Manor Sal. It's not gonna stay in this blue one. I'll make an autumn one. I'm doing Autumn Quakers. The Rosewood Manor Sal, sponsored by the Sunshine Stitchers. I think we started it August maybe? 15 August, I think. So this one I'm doing on 46 count. Yes, indeed, 46 count, that's what I said, because that's a big mistake. If you've seen my stuff before, you know why. I went to the store, I was gonna do it on 40 count, I got home, the 0 was really a 6. So I'm doing it in the Valdani threads. I am pulling apart the Valdani threads and using one strand. And I forget, I thought I had in here what the, anyways, it's 46 count, I don't know, remember what the actual linen was, but here it is. You know, Angel, how many times do we have to do this before you do it right? Okay, there you go. I'll insert a picture if I can. And this is where I am now. I'm working on this little curly Q thing. Yeah, so it's fun. It's coming along. What's really interesting is the chart. Beep. So in the chart, I can't show it to you, but when I did the Spring Quakers, the X's, what's charted in the book's, you know, multiple pages. What's charted in the book is almost like actual size. If you stitch it on the 28 count, it's like actual size. You could almost lay your linen on top, and that's what size it would be. So I'm at, you know, a medallion motif, and in the book it's like this big, you know, in the book, because that's what it would be, actual size. But then I'm stitching, and on mine it's like this big. So that's kind of a mind thing. It's a kind of weird. So you see it, and it's big, and it's good that it's big because I can see it, but then when I stitch it, it's so little, and it's not, so it's hard to kind of figure out where you are on it because it doesn't really relate visually. So that's kind of interesting. That's what I noticed, stitching on the 46 count. But, you know, I like it. It's coming out very fall colors, and I love it. If I do another one, I would consider doing it again on 46 count because it's very cool. So those are my whips. I haven't made any progress on my sweet bag. But I do, now that I went to the embroidery retreat, maybe I can make some progress on the sweet bag because I learned some embroidery techniques. Yay! I do have a little bit of haul, only a little bit. I met up with a friend of mine that I met from Celebrations of Needlework. Her name is Kay. She lives in Maine. Lucky ducky. And she took me to a place in, I think it was in Kennebunk, I think. To a really great store, packed. It had stuff more than just cross stitch in it. It was cross stitch and punch needle, or rug hooking, and lots of wool applique and things like that. Really, really a fascinating, jam-packed, and some antiques. Wonderful store. So I did get a little bit of haul while I was there. Since I was in a blue mood, and I, you know, just come from the Tatter Blue Library Retreat, I bought some Blackbird designs. Aren't these cute? Now this little guy, I think when I stitch it, this little peacock seems like he needs a tail. He just needs it. He's crying for, give me a tail, give me a tail. So when I stitch this, I'm gonna give him a tail. So, but it's beautiful. I love the little checkerboard on the house. So I got that one. Then I got this one. I mean, it's a lighter blue, but you know, I thought maybe I could do these in really small, maybe in like 46 count over 1 or something like that, and make a little box top or a pin cushion or even if it depends on how small it comes out, even a fob or something for a friend. So yeah. So then I also got this one. I like this bird. I think he is very cool, and I like the colors that she's chosen. I think I'll just stay with them because I really like them. So, and this one, I like the houses and little birds. I don't know, something about it. I like it. And then, so obviously I went blackbird design crazy. Yeah. And this, I mean, who doesn't love this sampler? Look at it. The border is great. It's like 2 different things. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's neat. So I don't know if that's based on if that's a reproduction or it's, so I think it's an original, but that's my haul. Now it'll be 147.5 years before I start any of those because, you know, I have some hats projects. My Hands Across the Sea projects. I mean, good Lord, I should pan over and show you the amount of kitted up projects I have. So they're not whips because I haven't started them yet. Because when I start them, I want to stitch on them, so I'm not starting them yet. But oh lordy, 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 I have a lot. Yeah. So all of those Hands Across the Sea, the bags that I made that were inspired by those Hands Across the Sea samplers, I made them for myself. So I have the bag and the sampler. That's what I use. And when I make a bag, it makes multiples. Generally, I make 3, 1 for myself and 2 to put on the site, or 1 for myself, 1 as a gift, and 1 to put on the site. It depends on, but generally that's how many I make. So they're one of a kinds, all of them. I sometimes make some more, but they're never exactly the same. So, plans, I can't cover plans because that's kind of strange. Plans. Best laid plans, it depends on the day. If you get some time, you pull out something, you stitch on it. I don't do like a rotation, and I don't do the challenge groups like the School of Magical Stitches, which I really love hearing about it, and I think that's cool. I did for the very first time do a stitching time on, there's a Facebook group, they're virtual stitchers, and I joined up with them one time, and that was cool. I think I will try that again. The lady who was moderating the room was in Australia, so it was very early morning for me. It was going to be late at night for her, and there was 2 people in Australia. There was 1 person in Sweden, I believe. There was another person somewhere in Europe. I'm not sure where she was located. And then there was 1 other person in the United States. So 2 of us. So it was really neat. And there's a picture and you can see the other person and you're all just stitching along and it's like, you know, talking. It's very cool. It's like going to stitch night, but with international friends. So virtual stitchers, who knew that existed? And I only tell you guys because I'm embarrassed to admit that to anybody else. It's our secret. Don't tell anyone. But try it. Virtual stitchers. Tell her Angel sent you. That's funny, huh? There is supposedly there's a group here in Washington, D.C., somewhere in this area, the metropolitan area, that is that stitching group, and they meet up once a month on Sundays, but I am not able to find the group on Facebook. I put in, someone left a comment for me with the name of the group, but I put that in and I didn't come up with anything on Facebook. So if anybody out there knows how to find the Washington, D.C. group on Facebook, please message me. Let me know. I'd like to join up with them. Yes. I would like to say just a couple of shout outs to friends of mine who left comments on my videos. I haven't been able to go through all the comments yet because I didn't take my iPad with me when I traveled, so I'm just now starting to get caught up. Hi to Diane. Hello. She is Dee's Delights Stitcher. I went and checked her out, and she only has, I think, 3 videos, 3 or 4, and she hasn't posted in a while, but she's fun to watch. I think that's maybe her grandchildren or somebody that came in. But hi, Diane. Get back on there. Let me see what you're stitching. I would love to see it. Also, hi to Suzanne. You know who you are. You made my day. Grin, grin, grin. Okay, so you said very nice things to me. And someone, a friend of mine named Kathy, asked a question on one of my videos. She asked if my needle minders are made from costume jewelry. And I answered her in the comments, but just in case anybody else is wondering, my needle minders are from lots of things. They started when I came across some buttons that I really liked. So what I do now is it's kind of found objects that I repurpose as needle minders. So if they're buttons, I will cut or Dremel off or whatever. I make them smooth in the back. Sometimes I cut off some things, I Dremel off things, I paint them, get them smooth, touch them up, do what I need to do. I use buttons, I use pins, I use brooches, I use charms, pendants, I've even used earrings, found objects, just all kinds of things. I prefer not to use things that have a hole in them, but a couple of times I have done that, and I try and fill it in because I really like it. I had these ivory, I had an owl and some butterflies that were just so cool. I really wanted to use them, but they had a little a small hole in the top because you could hang them as a pendant. They didn't come as a pendant, but they had a hole in case you wanted to wear them as a pendant. So I just left the hole there. I filled it in, but they were just so cool I couldn't pass them up. So that's how I make my needle minders. So kind of yes, some of them are costume jewelry, but most of them are not. Most of them are some form of button or pin. So yeah, so I've become very good with my Dremel. I have 2 Dremels now. And I get stuff everywhere. So I have a little pile of things. It's like a several stage process. So I snip or cut and do whatever I need to do, break off things, and then I have the Dremel process, and then I have the paint or glue or fill or whatever process, and then I have to put one side of the magnet on, that goes overnight, and then I make a button, an ergonomic back for it, and that lays overnight, and then I put it together and I have a minder. So I can take something that's like shit simple and really make it complicated, because that's just who I am. Poop. That's what's happened in my life in general. Take something simple, make it highly complicated. Okay, so that's all my stitching stuff. Anything else? I am not stitching on Hannah Waller at the moment. It's still a whip. I don't have it near me to pull out to show you my progress on that. So there isn't any. Go back a few videos. You'll see Hannah Waller. It's a Quaker sampler. I do have some bags. Since it's October, and people do October stitching, they do dark October stitching, they do Darktober stitching, whatever kind of stitching you do. I made some Halloween bags, October-ish Halloween kind of bags. And I do love me some Halloween. Oh yes, I do. I don't stitch Halloween, but I love Halloween. So I love watching people who stitch Halloween, and I love seeing Halloween things stitched. I just have so many other darn things started, I can't stop and do Halloween. So I found some very, very cool fabric. I found these pinup girls who are zombies. So, I mean, who doesn't love pinup girls and who doesn't love zombies? So cool. If you don't, I'm sorry. But I do. I think they're way cool. Check her out. I mean, really? Hey, girl. Hey. So, yeah. Hi. So I made bags. Yeah. And inside they're red polka dot inside, and I have matching a notions bag that goes with it. Oh, and I've already put them in their plastic. But here's the needle minder. It's a little skeleton and hugging a girl. And that is metal. It's painted enamel. And then my scissors, and then the needle minder is Halloween. So they're not all the same, but this is, since it's kind of Halloweenish, Halloween scissor fob. They're all metal. These are all metal buttons. Beads, metal beads, not buttons. Yeah, so that is inside of the notions bag. And I trimmed it in, edged it in ribbon, in black satin ribbon. And then put it all together, and there it is. So there's one. And then I also found it in black. Hey girl, hey. Pin up zombies! So that's lined in fabric with little roses on it. Also has a matching, check her out. I mean, check her out. So cool. And I've also already bagged these, but it has a very cool needle minder with a girl zombie with black hair. And then the scissor fob, sparklies with a little cat, black cat, Halloweenish at the bottom. And these are rose gold and gray, silver, sparkly. Every girl needs sparklies. So there. What fun! So if you're doing some Darktober stitching and you like pinup girls and you like zombies, those are for you. So for the people who are a little bit more Halloween minded, I got some Trick or Treat fabric. It's seance fabric, but one of them has Trick or Treat on it with a spider, a silver spider web and a spider as the button. It's lined in orange. Has a matching notions bag. And a spider needle minder, black silver spider needle minder. Oh, yes. And a very cool silver skulls. And a bat for the scissor fob. So that's cool. I had fun making that one. They take me a really long time to make them. The whole creative process, in addition just to sewing. So, oh, and this has the spider, a silver spider on it, because, you know, the bag has the spider web. So there's that one, just more Halloween-y kind of bag. And then, of course, you know, I have several of them. One for me, two for everybody else. Of course, lined in orange. Matching bag, notions bag. Oh, this one has a little silver flying witch. Happy Halloween. So, those are the Halloween ones. And one more, I have two Day of the Dead, the skulls. The other one I didn't grab, but the bag, Day of the Dead with skulls. Oh, the silver spider web. Lined in flannel. Yes, lined in gray flannel. And it has a notions bag with the spider, silver spider. And it has a silver skeleton hand needle minder. And this has silver skulls and these red ivory skulls and Dracula teeth. What fun. What fun is that? I mean, if you're stitching Halloween or Darktober, I mean, who would want to pull that out, pull your project out of that? It's really great. And the other one of these, I believe, is lined in kind of this light green to match these. So they're all different. They're all lined in different things. And then I had this little experimental one, which is fun. It's just a notions bag, and it's Velcro closure. See, it's green lined, but The button on this one is actually the needle minder. See, there's the hoops. There's the back to the needle minder. See the magnet? So that's your needle minder, the bat, silver bat, and it is attaches as the button. Okay, so there you go. Happy October, happy Halloween. Yeah, happy Darktober to those people stitching that. I am still stuck mentally in Sampler September. I am going to go binge watch all of the Fiber Talk videos from the Bristol Sampler weekend, and yeah, have a great, great stitchy day. And it was wonderful to see you. Till next time, bye. Forgot to tell you that at the end, I'm gonna put a little video of our visit to Swans Island, and you can see how the indigo dyeing went. Have fun, enjoy.